Hey, so this will be my Q&A video to celebrate 2k subscribers. If all goes well, I might even make a second one. But first, I want to thank everyone for your questions. Honestly, I wasn't even expecting to get as many questions as I did. But since I got this money, I will try to answer all of them. But this means that I can't really, talk about the project that I wanted to talk about, which was my already over remake. To make up for this, though, I've put a speed through of me making a scene in the background. I also uploaded a preview of that video a few days ago because, well, it was pretty much because I got these many questions, so I want to just talk about and focus on the questions in this video. So before I start, I also want to point out that I will only be reading the questions and not the whole comment if there is more written on it. The first questions I will answer will also be more random ones, and I will take the 3D/editing type of questions later on. The first question is by N White, who asks, "What server do you play on?" So I play on Argent on EU on the Horde side. The next question is by George BE, who asks, PV or PvP? So if you asked me this question in MUP, I would have answered both. However, at the moment, I'm not really enjoying the Warlords expansion at all, so I only log on to Raid or joke around in Goldshire. The next question is by Never Die, who asks, why Blood Elves? So long story short, they are the most humanoid horde race. They also have actual houses, unlike the other races. Most of the other horde races have straw huts, so they are tiny and green. I also like the Blood Elves versus High Elves type of lore, and I think there's a lot of story potential for the elf races in general, because they have shitloads of lore. The next question is by Jaden Jenkins, who asks, will we ever have any guest stars? Yeah, sure. I've actually had 3 of my friends guest star in videos. 2 as background characters and 1 as a main character in my video named Mirrors. I've also thought about making short subscriber videos. However, that is at the moment still just an idea because I'm not totally sure how to do it yet. The next question is by Fury Blues, who asks, what are your thoughts on a tomato? So I've never met this tomato you're talking about, so I shouldn't be judging him/her just yet. Next question is by Despondency, who asks, would you be interested in collaborating with other animators that are willing to learn methods such as yours? Definitely. I would, however, have to get to know the person first and find out if he or she was dedicated enough to actually finish the project. There is no need to learn my methods though, as I'm honestly just doing basic animation stuff at the moment. But yeah, sure. The next question is by Hello You the Smiley, who asks, how many bands do you have in your list of songs? So I have 137 bands, unless I counted wrong. The next question is by Ranger Renelia, who asks, when will 50 Shades of Blood Elf be coming out? Unfortunately, that project has been cut. I have, however, dedicated a small part of my already over video to abs, so I hope that will make up for it. The next question is by April Tops, who asks, do you have a girlfriend? Just wondering. If a harem full of wives counts, then yeah, I have a lot of them, but not specifically a girlfriend, no. The next question is by Razorblade Machinimas, who asks, who's your favourite machinimator? My absolute favourite YouTube machinimator would have to be Tori Movies. I really enjoy his videos, and his After Effects work is a great inspiration, and I just overall enjoy his content a lot. The next question is by Sylvanus Windrunner, who asks, who are your favourite of YouTubers? So I have a lot of them, however, to make the list short, I'll just point out 2 absolute favourites, which is again Tori Movies and Sarkin16. For years, they have both been a great inspiration, especially Sarkon 16 though. I really looked up to his work when he first started making videos years back, so there's lots of nostalgia there. The next question is by SophieCool18, who asks, what video of yours was to your opinion the worst and the best one you created so far? Xana also asks a similar question, which is, which video do you like the best of those you have made? So my favourite and my worst video pretty much. My favourite would have to be my so-called video, as I like the simple story and I just had a blast making it. I learned new techniques and still to this day I actually think the video is, or at least I think it looks decent, even though it isn't on par with my newest work. My worst video would actually have to be my old Breath video, simply because I never really liked the story. Honestly, the story is actually more based on the song than on my character, so I had a hard time making new videos for my characters afterwards. The next question is by SuperXXMax, who asks, who's your best cousin? To that I would have to say all my other cousins but you. So the next question is by Luigi the Plumber, who asks, do you have any words of wisdom / helpful programs or tips to those who are just starting out with creating machinimas? Definitely, like, storyboard your ideas and write down all your ideas that you get. Don't just make a video to a song because there's this one cool drop in a song, or if you like the middle of the song, and like, you would most likely abandon the project if you do that, because you will have this awesome idea for like 10 seconds of the song, and the rest of it you're just gonna have to YOLO. As for programs, I recommend After Effects, as it's just pure awesome. Like with other programs, in for example Sony Vegas, you have to work so much harder to get even somewhat similar results to After Effects. The next question is by Marty Chan, who asks, what's your opinion on the Legion expansion? Well, I really like the fact that they have class leaders, and I'm really happy that they will be introducing some new Night Elf furniture stuff. So I'm looking forward to use that in my new videos. I also like the dungeons, and like pretty much I like most of the stuff I've seen so far. But like, I did the same with Warlords. I honestly liked a lot of the stuff that they introduced for Warlords too, but I'm not enjoying this expansion, so I'm just gonna wait and see. The next question is by Sita the Druid, who asks, do you rig yourself or do you use an older Volmovia to get the bone / animation files? I'm also very curious how you got to know Cutie Pie. So I'm just gonna answer the first question, and then I'm gonna answer the second question. So currently I'm using the newest version of Volmovia, and I just export the characters as FBX. This let me use the Blizzard's already built skeleton, so all I have to do is clean it up and add helpers. So yeah, you just need the newest version pretty much. As for your second question, I got to know Cutie Pie / Digital Diva a few months back, when I wrote in one of my videos that I was trying to work out 3ds Max. She then offered to answer some 3D questions for me if I had any. So ever since we've spoken together, and she even helped me with the remake of my Breath video. I really appreciate all the help she has given me. I'm quite sure I wouldn't even have been making custom animations just yet if it wasn't for her help. And the next question is by Acid Pudding, who asks, how did you learn to use 3ds Max, by course or online with tutorials? So mostly with help from Cutie Pie, like I mentioned in the last question. I've been playing around in 3ds Max and learning that way, plus I've been using some tutorials. So the next question is by Derenea, who asks, if there was no 3ds Max, which program were you going to choose? The only reason I chose 3ds Max was because that was the program that the YouTuber I was watching used. So I would choose whatever program he did or were using, or I would probably maybe choose Cinema 4D, as that is the program that I will be learning in school. The next question is by Geeky Theory, who asks, what inspired you to make your own machinimas and use your own animations? I started doing machinima years ago, so I honestly can't answer this question perfectly, but it mostly had to do with the fact that I was really inspired by cartoons in general. I simply wanted to play God in my own little fantasy universe and make it all come to life. So it's just my love for 3D that made me do machinima and just start with it. The next question is by Maymik, who asks, how long does it take to make one video? It really depends on the video and the scene slash animations needed, but I would definitely say 20 plus 4 hours. The next question is by Sokibit K, who asks, how old are you and where are you from, and what inspired you to start with the whole YouTube slash machinima thing? So a kind of similar question, but it was pretty much cartoons and the thought of playing God that made me want to do machinima. As for age and country, I mean lol. I'm 19 and I live in Norway, hence why my English suck. The next question is by Pixelated Ryan, who asks, how do you decide the story behind each of your character? First I try to find out what type of personality they have, and I make a general idea of what I want them to have gone through, or what I like, kind of what they will go through. I honestly don't build my characters much more than what is shown in my videos though, so the song choice also usually influence my character's story a bit, and of course I have to cut out scenes or not from the story, so that also kind of decides how the story is, depending on the length of the song, etc. So there's lots of tiny factors for it. The next question is by When or Why, who asks, have you thought about showing and talking about your old, recent, or maybe upcoming in progress storyboards if you make them nice? Definitely. I used to have some quite funny ones, especially for my so-called video, as I didn't have 3D and couldn't build 3D sets, so I had to make my sets in After Effects, and I had a storyboard where the characters were standing depending on angle, etc. The drawings you see in the background is storyboards for upcoming and in progress videos. This scene, which is from my already over remake, has however been cut as I found out the angle wouldn't work. But this is pretty much how I storyboard when I draw. I make fabulous stickmen and I try to write down as much as I can. If people want to see some of my storyboard stuff there, I wouldn't mind showing them. I think it's kind of fun looking at some of them. Then back at my videos, seeing everything I had to cut or if I had to change an idea. It's also kind of funny seeing like stick figures of one scene, and then I look at a scene how it's supposed to look inside the program, and when it's fully done, it's like this huge difference, to say it like that. Next question is by Red Blooded Ninja, who asks, how do you figure out animation, lighting and your stories? So I talked about how I plan stories in an earlier question. However, when it comes to animation and lighting, I mostly make animations that I had already pre-planned for the video slash story. Lighting usually depends though on the look of the scene and if I want it to be night or day, so lighting is usually planned last. The next question is by Alron Hawk, who asks, am I fabulous? Are you fabulous? How do you come up with your fabulous ideas? I make myself a fabulous character, then I listen to some fabulous music and come up with a fabulous idea. And yes, we are both fabulous. So this is their last question, and I believe I answered all of them. If I haven't answered all of them, then you can message me and I'll answer your question. And yeah, I have to say I'm sorry for just answering all the questions so fast, but I really don't want the video to be way too long because it's gonna be hard to watch it. Kudos though to everyone who managed to stay through the whole video, and I also want to thank everyone for having subscribed, and I want to especially thank those that take their time to either like my video or comment on it. I really appreciate it, and it's a lot of fun seeing likes or comments on my videos, I do read all comments. So yeah, see you later, and thank you for all the questions you've asked.